Gentlemen, I notice that some of you right now, well, it's starting to be a lot of you. The number is growing. A lot of you right now are not trying to be in a relationship.
The modern Western woman is really not worth it right now, so it's really not it.
Nah, dog, I'm just on my purpose right now. I'm just worried about me.
Bruh, they're all kind of scandalous right now, so it's scary out there.
So yeah, I get it. You got your reasons right now, but you need to make sure that you're not out of the game completely. If you're out of the game, your muscles start to atrophy. If you don't understand what's going on, you not only, as far as your skill starts to wane, your knowledge of what's happening in these streets will get you got with just ignorance. So basically, while you may not be actively in these streets, you still need to make sure that your game is tight so that when you do come back, because you know you're coming back.
Bro, you nasty. I know what you want. I saw you looking at her. You trying to get back in them draws.
So to make sure that you can get back in and out as frequently as you want to, you have to make sure that you stay sharp. So I'm going to teach you a technique that I developed a long time ago to help you stay ready for these streets. Because it is confusing. I know, I get it. You don't know what to do, but you did the right thing. You came to class, balance of power. I got you covered with today's lesson. James Bond training. Let's get it in. So many of you already know who James Bond is. One of the smoothest, suavest brothers on the planet. Women love him and want to be him. You get it. But what does that have to do with you? What kind of training is this? I noticed something when I was a kid watching James Bond movies. Not just the fact that women loved him, but I wanted to know why. What was it about what he does that makes him so cool? That I love him, everybody loves him. What is it? And if you pay attention, you'll notice this too. Now, it seems like James Bond is great at everything, but that's just an illusion that he kind of creates. Really? He's only amazing at 5 things. He's good at a lot of stuff, but he's amazing at 5 things. The 5 things he's amazing at? He's amazing at playing poker. Nobody's touching this dude. When it comes to poker, perfect poker face. He can read his opponents. He knows exactly what to do. When it comes to drinking, not only does he have the shaken not stirred, but at the same time, if he was in some kind of drinking contest, dude could hold his liquor. When it comes to driving, not only is his car just beautiful, this cat's driving skills are on point. He can outdrive people. He can use his car as a weapon. Man, I know John Wick stole a bunch of things from James Bond in terms of using cars as a weapon. Speaking of cars, it's a big old gadget. James Bond not only has gadgets, he knows how to use them effectively and is mad resourceful. He turns into like MacGyver when it comes to figuring things out and how to use like explosives and detonators and watches that do weird things with lasers. And we all know the number one thing James Bond is good at: pimping. James Bond is so good that he will hit it with the wife of a villain who's also trying to kill him, and he knows it, and he just does it anyway. He's pimping so hard, he tells her his whole name. He's that bold with it.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
He's like, yeah, I know you want to kill me. I know my name is in the game and you know I'm a spy, but I'm a hit anyway. So yes, you saw all that, you know all this, and you're probably thinking, what does this have to do with me? Do I got to learn how to drive and use gadgets? No, just keep those 5 things in mind, but also keep in mind that it seems like he's got more than 5, but really, it's those 5 that he's amazing at. So keep that in mind. And we're going to shift gears, but remember this part. So when you're an actor, at the bottom of your resume, there's a thing called your skills list. Now, on your skills list, it's different extracurricular skills that have nothing to do with just basic acting. It's not like in the skills list portion, you mention, oh, I can memorize pages and pages of dialogue at the drop of a hat. That's average. Skills list are specialized skills that you would put on there that might be different or make you stand out from other actors. So a good example would be Keanu Reeves' skills list, for instance. He could say stuff like skilled in judo, trained in special ops and firearms, knife throwing, all the John Wick kind of things. Now, many of you are not actors, but I'm going to ask you, think about this, and I want you to truly think about it. What would be on your skills list? What are you great at? Or even something that you have cursory knowledge of? What is on that list that you could do in life? I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't at least have 5 things that you can put on that list, and you don't have to be amazing or really, really great, but something where you're got a good knowledge base of it. If you don't have at least 5 things, this is what we're talking about with this James Bond lesson. You are going to be beefing up your personal skills list. Now, I'm not teaching you how to be an actor, but I am teaching you how to be a man who is always prepared for anything, no matter what situation you're in. Watching James Bond as a child, I noticed that he was never in a situation where he was completely lost. Let's say he was dropped into the ocean and he swam up to a submarine. He could figure out how to pilot a submarine. He could figure out how to fly a plane. He might be dropped in some random country and he might not be the best at, say he's dropped in China, he might not be the best at speaking Mandarin, but he knows enough to get by. He knows enough that he's never lost. Like I said, he's only got those 5 things that he's amazing at. But everything else, James Bond's skills list is off the charts. And that is the thing I noticed. And that, my friends, has been something that's been invaluable to me. But one of the main reasons why I've done so well with women is because of the mentality of me trying to train myself from very early on to be James Bond in that way. To never be in a situation where I'm just completely lost. Whether it's conversation or actual action, I make sure that my skills list, not just because I'm an actor, but because I wanted to have that thing that he had. He knows enough to figure out how to never, ever be lost or look weak or just not have a direction. He can lead and be dominant and be dope in every situation because he's never at zero. So you've seen the trailer to this show, and I talk about, I'm going to be teaching you things from a religious standpoint, a scientific standpoint. You see the different things I bring to you all, whether it's comic books or geology. I'm not lost because over my lifetime, I've made sure I developed a wide base of knowledge. I am very well read and I'm very well studied in all kinds of different aspects because I wanted to make sure I was like James Bond, that even if I could be dope and amazing at 5 things, these 5 things are at a 10 or 11, but everything else is at least a 5 or a 6. At the lowest, it's like a 4 as far as skills. Whether it's languages or, like I said, he could fly a plane, he could do whatever. I made sure that my skills list was like that. So whether it's an actual situation, but more than that, just conversation. Conversation with a woman and being able to talk about anything at all times, homie, you have no idea what that does for you. But I hear you yelling at the screen, we told you we're not trying to be with these women anymore. Yeah, whatever. But the fact is, this is still something you need to strengthen yourself. You still need to be in the gym because what I'm telling you has not just helped me when it comes to women, it has helped me when it comes to life. And I'm going to give you just 3 areas in which making sure your skills list is beefed up that this James Bond training that you're gonna be doing, because if you don't, you're just stupid. This James Bond training that you're gonna be doing, I'm gonna give you the 3 reasons outside of women as to why this is important and something that you would need for life. Now, this is in no particular order, but let's just start with the first one, networking. If you don't know this, you should know this. Many opportunities in your life don't come just because you have skill, which I think is interesting because it's a video about gaining skill, and I'm telling you don't need skill, but you do need skill. Anyway, many opportunities come because of who you know, the connections you make, the friendships, the business partnerships, all the different things, the networking of life. You being able to move seamlessly in any room, have any conversation with any dude about anything, that makes you, again, invaluable. People will listen to you when you speak because they're like, oh, he knows about this, he knows about that. No matter what party you're at, you can be talking with the person who's got the most clout or the least clout, because you never know, especially here in LA. People might dress bummy, but they might be millionaires, and you never know. So make sure you treat everybody with respect. That's just a random lesson for you. But the point is, if you can have conversations with anybody about anything and not be lost no matter what, homie, networking is a breeze. The next one, leadership. Now, I kind of already talked about this a little bit with the networking thing, but the fact is, when you're moving that way, where you're standing and speaking confidently, and there's not seeming like there's any subject where you're 100% lost, people start to listen to you because they perceive you as smart. Because you learning and having all these skills does make you smarter. You know a lot more. So you being able to speak and command a room where people just stop what they're doing and they start to listen to you, that's the beginning of leadership. And when you're the leader, you're going to need to be able to have not just forward vision of what's going to happen, but the knowledge of what's happened before. You're going to need a wealth of knowledge to be able to help you do whatever you want to do. But more so, it's the fact that people are going to want to follow you because they're going to see that you know things, and not everybody knows things. Or people might know 2 or 3 things, they might know their 5 things, but they have not worked on their skills list. They don't have all this extracurricular things that they can just pull out of their back pocket, and they see that you do. They're going to want to listen to you. And one last quick one. Fun. It is fun learning about new things and trying new things and gaining new perspectives and learning new cultures. Because as you're doing this, the essence of what you're going to be doing in this James Bond training is you're going to, with your free time, all of this, I'm not chasing any woman, I'm on my purpose. Okay, when you're not chasing women, are you learning another language? If you're not chasing women, are you hitting the gym? Are you learning a different fighting style? Are you learning an instrument that you can play? Are you reading a book about the history of Mexico? I don't know. Are you learning about the politics of another country? Are you learning about money and how it works? Are you learning about crypto? Are you learning about something new? So my point is that you should be beefing up your skills list, because it's something that actors do. If you think about it, just let's name one actor like Tom Cruise. How many different skills does that dude have? He can ride motorcycles, for real. He could fly helicopters, for real. He could fly jets, for real. He can hang glide, skydive. He can fight. Dude learned how to hold his breath for like 6 or 7 minutes so he could dive during one of the Mission Impossibles. Just the skills that this man has, just because he's learning these things for a movie. But the fact is, your life should be like a movie. Why not? Movies are fun. Have fun with this. Get better. Get stronger. Stop being a punk. You know what I mean. Some of you are just wasting your time. You're saying that you don't want to chase women and you want your life to be better, but what are you really doing with your time? If you're not learning a new language, if you're not getting physically stronger, but also mentally stronger, if you're not being more dexterous, if you're not doing different things to make yourself more interesting, you're missing out on the rest of life. You're missing out on being able to lead people, being able to have new experiences and to broaden your horizons. And you might not be thinking about women right now, but the fact is at one point you gonna come back to the game. You gonna come back to these streets. Don't play. Like I said, I know you nasty. You want to get in them draws. Anyway, you need to make it so no matter what happens, whether you're with a woman or you're leading a group of men, that you're never lost. That you are James Bond. That if you have 5 things that you're amazing at, get better at those 5 things. But also make sure that you are beefing up your skills list so that you are never lost. So that there's this air about you that you seem to have infinite skills, infinite wisdom, and that you are unbeatable. So go ahead, take your time, gentlemen. But while you're taking your time, become better, become faster, become stronger, double in strength by becoming 007. So that's the end of today's lesson. Now, if you found value in this, and I know you did, click the subscribe button. We want to make sure that the algorithm is getting everybody so that the video can go out to everybody. These lessons are gold bars of knowledge I'm dropping on y'all, and we want to make sure that every man, woman, and child has access to what we do here. It's important. Now, if you're really good, slide this video to someone else who might need it. We are still on our road to 10K. Because I know you like these lessons. So come on back and click on another video. But until next time, no. Deuce, deuce.